Oh man, it seems like 2024 is not going great for Drake. He's been facing a lot of criticism, and it feels like things are just piling on. First, he got into a feud with Kendrick Lamar and things got pretty intense. Then, to add to his troubles, his $1 million mansion in Toronto got flooded, and it looks like it's in really bad shape. Tough times for Drake. Kendrick Lamar recently threw some serious shade at Drake, so it looks like these two might be heading for another showdown. The drama between them just doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. It's crazy to think that this all started between J. Cole and Kendrick, and had nothing to do with Drake at the beginning. I mean, sure, Drake and Kendrick already had their issues from years back, but nobody thought it was going to blow up like this. It's wild because J. Cole didn't even shade Kendrick to begin with. If anything, he gave him a massive compliment by referring to him as one of the biggest rappers in the world, saying, "Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K. Dot? Is it Aubrey? Or me? We the big three like we say." But right now, I feel like Muhammad Ali. Kendrick didn't take this well because of his history with Drale, and he clapped back at J. Cole and Drake in his collab with Metro Boomin title, like that. He said, "If you walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Someone is feeling stressed and hesitant to share their location because of a past experience that caused them a lot of distress." Meanwhile, rapper Drake wasn't going to let Kendrick Lamar have the final say without a fight. He responded with 2 songs called Push-Ups and Tailor Made. For a little while, it seemed like Drake might come out on top in their feud. Kendrick didn't take it lightly. He came back strong and released Euphoria, a really harsh diss track aimed at Drake. It was pretty savage, and just when we thought that was it, he came out with another diss track called 616 in Lay, which was equally brutal. He shared a lot of gossip about Drake and his group, portraying Drake as someone who is paying others to find negative information about Kendrick Lamar because he feels threatened by him. Drake responded by releasing another diss track called Family Matters, where he insulted Kendrick's family and accused him of being involved in a physical altercation with one of Drake's associates. He also accused Kendrick of not being around for his son. He said that Kendrick was more focused on himself and not on being there for his son. It seems like Drake brought up this situation to take attention away from the fact that Kendrick has been accused of being violent towards someone named Whitney.
There's certain things too now. There was a shocking story about you, and I was like, there's no way this is true.
Yeah.
When they said you were in Vegas and you beat some guy bloody and you did something to some female,
Yeah.
and they said they had evidence and all of this, and then I never heard anything about it again.
Yeah, because it's foolishness. That's the most ignorant stuff I ever heard made up on,
I was like,
on
Kendrick
my
did that?
name.
I doubt it.
And, you know, that person, whoever made that up, owes an apology. Not to me, but to women that actually go out there and get a... You dig what I'm saying? That's a real issue, and to be putting a person name that you know, that stands for someone way more better, that's been raised way more better than that, that's not cool. There's people out there that really get a... And there's women out there that get a... and don't say nothing and you know, live their lives through that, so...
Because I was like, I'm sure if that happened, there'd have been a police report, you would have been arrested.
That's foolishness. That's ignorant. That's all the way ignorant to 100%.
When you hear things in the news, certain things I believe about artists. That story, I didn't even think that was remotely close to your character at all.
Yeah, you'd be in jail, man. They put you under the jail.
Kendrick Lamar called out Drake in a song called Meet the Grams, mentioning Drake's mom and suggesting that Drake has disturbing thoughts. The lyrics allude to wanting Drake and a controversial figure to face consequences for their actions. He hates black women, hypersexualism with kinks of a nympho. He grew facial hair because he understood that a beard just fit him better. He got offenders on Hovey-O, which he keeps on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised, and he should keep his child around them. And we've got to raise our daughters knowing there's S like him lurking. If you thought it couldn't get any wilder, Kendrick dropped another diss track, Not Like Us, and it was on a whole new level of, and get this, he used a photo of Drake's house as the cover art. At this point, other rappers joined in and dragged Drake for filth, dropping multiple diss tracks against him. Chilly, having half the industry dragging you for filth is some nasty business, and there's no way that Drake could have held his own against other rappers in the industry. Rick Ross is one of the rappers who came after Drake, but you can't exactly blame him because Drake took the first shots in his career. This track, Push-Ups, Drake said, "I might take your latest girl and cuff her like I'm Ricky. I can't believe he's jumping in this ninja turning 50. He got every song that made it on the chart from Drizzly. Spend that little check you got and stay about my business." Rose wasn't about to let this slide, and he dropped a diss track. Champagne moments, where he said, "Getting bullied, don't walk up on me cause the clip is full, ninjas pee. Don't wanna push me." I'm like, would he? Like his moves. But he never had to fight in school, always ran. Another ninja had to write your grooves. Flow is copy and paste. Wheezy gave you the juice. Another white boy at the park wants to hang with the crew. Rick Ross also made it 100% clear that he was Team Kendrick after Kendrick dropped out. The distracts, not like us, and Meet the Grams. He clowned Drake and asked Drake to retire.
I just want to make this clear. White boy, they said you said if you was young girls, you promised you would have been arrested. Whoever wrote that for you should have put more thought into that. White boy, it's your writers. Whatever message you translated to them, that wasn't the way they were supposed to do that. And as a writer, when it come to you gotta remove yourself from that. White boy, that wasn't the line right there.
Don't even get me started on Metro Boomin and how he dropped a beat and asked random fans on the internet to drop diss tracks against Drake. Drake was fighting for his life against all these ops and struggling hard. It got even worse when Drake's house in Toronto got shot up in a drive-by shooting. The streets started talking about how singer The Weeknd was allegedly behind the shooting because guess what? He also has some messy beef against Drake. As I said, Drake had too many ops, but shooting up his house is just a level of craziness. At first, fans tried to pin it on Kendrick because of the beef and because he used a map of Drake's house on the cover art of Not Like Us. But as people pointed out, Drake's Toronto address has been public for a long time, leading us back to The Weeknd. You might be scratching your head, wondering why people would accuse The Weeknd of coming for Drake like this. Well, rumor has it that Drake allegedly ordered a hit on someone from The Weeknd's crew a few weeks before Drake's own house got shot up. Allegedly. It's all part of a beef that's deeper than just a personal grudge. It's a full-blown clash between their labels, OVO and Zoe, who are set seriously at each other's throats. Here's the juicy backstory if you still need to catch up. Back in the day, when The Weeknd was starting, Drake was one of the first big names to spot his potential. It was clear from the get-go that The Weeknd was destined for greatness. According to rumors, Drake's right-hand man, 40, was the one who first met The Weeknd and then introduced him to Drake. Drake was eager to sign The Weeknd to OVO Records, but the deal didn't happen immediately. Even though they never made it official with a contract, Drake and The Weeknd kept on collaborating. Drake and The Weeknd's relationship continued, with Drake playing the role of mentor in The Weeknd's rise to fame. The Weeknd even worked on Drake's 2011 album, Take Care, helping with writing on at least 4 tracks. Here's where it gets shady. Drake didn't exactly credit The Weeknd for his work on the album, and for a long time, it was like he was keeping it secret. It wasn't until a few years later that the truth finally came out. Drake was kind of cornered into giving The Weeknd some well-deserved writing credits on Take Care, but they didn't let that slide. By then, Drake was seriously eyeing the possibility of officially bringing The Weeknd into the OVO family because he recognized he had a goldmine of talent right there. But The Weeknd wasn't just a musical genius, he was also bright AF. He was keeping a close eye on OVO and noticed something fishy. None of Drake's sigmies were hitting it big. It's not like Drake was out there, they're deliberately sabotaging his artist or anything. It's common for a super busy artist to struggle with balancing their career while trying to help others break out. Juggling one successful career is challenging enough, but trying to stay on top while building someone else's job is a whole new challenge, and only a few people manage to pull it off so well. Watching the scene unfold at Drake's OVO label, The Weeknd saw his future if he stayed there. So, he played it smart and signed with Republic Records in 2012, launching his own Zoe Records, and boy, did that move pay off. He got to chart his path and shine in his career. If he'd stuck with OVO, he might not have become the superstar he is today. But Drake wasn't exactly throwing a party over this. He felt pretty salty about The Weeknd jumping ship to Republic Records, thinking The Weeknd owed him for all the free promo he'd given him back in the day. As soon as the news dropped, Drake started throwing out some serious shade, calling The Weeknd out for being disloyal and ungrateful. Still, The Weeknd wasn't exactly ungrateful. He always gave Drake his props and acknowledged how Drake helped start his career. But Drake wasn't having any of it, even when The Weeknd gave him a shout out at a concert.
There'd be no The Weeknd, there'd be no EXO. So please, make some noise for my mentor, my brother.
Drake then tweeted a salty and bitter, saying, "You won't get away with just a thank you. You owe me a favor." Drake wasn't about to let The Weeknd walk away without making a scene, especially with dollar signs dancing in his head, so he decided to play the petty card. When The Weeknd and Bella had it split up, Drake swooped in quicker than you can say rebound, sparking rumors that he was now seeing Bella. It was clear Drake was using Bella to push The Weeknd's buttons. He even dropped, "I want my baby to have your eyes. I'm going against my advice. Should I do New York? I can't decide. Fashion Week is more your thing than mine. I can't even lie. I'd rather stay inside." But The Weeknd wasn't about to take that lying down. He fired back with severe heat and got lost in the fire, throwing major shade at Drake with lines like, "I just want a baby with the right one, because I could never be the one to hide one." Ouch. That was a direct hit aimed at Drake for keeping his son, Adnis. It was a secret until Pusha T spilt the beans during their beef. And The Weeknd also got involved in the beef between Drake and the rest of the music industry, hopping on a song by Metro Boomin to shade Drake. On the song, "All to Myself," The Weeknd hinted that Drake allegedly tried to give him a terrible contract when he wanted to sign him to OVO back in the day. He said, "Look at how we movin', baby. They could never diss my brothers, baby." When they got leaks in the operation, "I thank God I never signed my life away," and we never did. Not long after the song dropped, things took a nasty turn. There was a mysterious shooting at the home of The Weeknd's longtime manager, Cash. For those who don't know, Cash has been with The Weeknd since way back in the day. Luckily, Cash himself was unharmed, but a security guard did get hit and ended up in the hospital. The police released a statement that said, the victim, male, black, 37 years, was inside a guard shack when he heard several gunshots and discovered he had been struck. The suspects, 3 males, no further details, fled from the location. Laft responded and transported the victim to a local hospital in unknown condition. Location, 175,000 block of Jaden Lane, RD 1067, April 29, 2024. At 225 hours. It was referred to as a home invasion, but the streets believed that it wasn't an ordinary invasion, but an ordered hit.
We're following breaking news. A security guard has been shot in Encino, and we now know the home has ties to the artist The Weeknd. Scott Reif live in Air 7 HD with details. Scott.
Yeah, Rachel, this is the home in question. Now, you see the emblem there on the basketball court. That's the record label of The Weeknd. And then you see the guard shack. You see a chair that's toppled over. And then you see what appear to be evidence markers. Those could be shell casings. We don't know for sure. We can't tell with our camera. But we can tell they're investigating in the back of the home. LAPD officers are here. About 2:45 this morning, there was a shooting. The security guard was shot, transported. Condition is unknown. So it's unclear right now if the security guard was shot during some sort of attempted robbery or burglary into the home, or if that security guard had been targeted here. We'll open up a little bit out of this shot and show you. It's reportedly a $12 million home that is believed to be owned by a music industry executive with ties to The Weeknd.
This was a hot mess, and Drake was fighting for his life against all the people in the industry. The next thing we knew, there were reports that Drake's house in Toronto had been shot up, and a security guard had been hit in what was referred to as a drive-by shooting.
Police confirming a shooting occurred outside the home of Canadian rapper Drake in Toronto. This happening overnight in the wake of an escalating beef between Drake and hip-hop star Kendrick Lamar. This is the scene outside of Drake's home in the city's Bridle Path neighborhood, courtesy of our CTV News chopper. Police say a man sustained serious injuries after a shooting outside that home and was taken to hospital. Police also say a suspect fled in a vehicle, but no description has been released. So far, there's no word on whether Drake was at home at the time of the shooting, but we understand from police that he has offered to fully cooperate.
Regarded as a personal hit, which wasn't surprising. See, while this drama was going on, it was reported that Drake had left the US for Canada. This isn't surprising because Canada is his home, and with the way everyone in the industry was coming after him, chilly, I would have run back home, too. But running to Canada was not enough to stop Drake, because Kendrick continued to diss him. Not Like Us turned into a huge hit, soaring to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The Weeknd even performed the track on Juneteenth during his pop-out show, where he played it 6 times in a row while the crowd sang every word with him. Chilly, talk about disrespect. Chile. Kendrick was petty AF, and that's enough to mess with someone's mental health seriously. Are thousands of people singing a diss track 6 times? That's next level wild. But it doesn't stop there. Kendrick also dropped a Not Like Us music video, which racked up over 30 million views in 3 days. And wait for it, he even included a shot of him, Whitney, and their kids dancing together, totally shutting down those messy rumors about him treating Whitney badly. Talk about making a statement. Fans started feeling sorry for Drake as Kendrick kept piling on the hit. On top of that, Drake had been subtly hinting that he wasn't in the best place mentally, like when he shared that emotional video on his Instagram stories.
Maybe this is criticism. Maybe that is. But when you die, will people want us? Well, I know there will be a lot of memories to me by a lot of people. Many will hate me, even so. A person needs to live with vigor. Otherwise, what's born?
Watching him get hit while already struggling made it even harder to watch. But wait, there's more. Pictures of Drake at Michael Rubin's party a few days ago went viral, and my man looks stressed AF. Insider sources say Drake is really hating this whole situation, and it's weighing on him hard. With all the hate he's been getting thanks to Kendrick, he feels like Kendrick is crossing the line and not playing fair by publicly humiliating him. As if that were not enough, Drake's Toronto mansion also got flooded. There have been heavy rains in the Canadian province of Ontario, and Drake posted a video of his flooded mansion in Chile. Drake can't seem to catch a break. He was hiding out in Toronto because the US was being mean to him. At least he was loved in Canada. For example, when Rick Ross tried to play Not Like Us in Toronto, he got jumped because they don't play about Drake in Toronto, Chile. I have secondhand embarrassment watching that. Drake loved this, and he was caught liking a video about the incident. Rick then tried to save face, saying they were bottle boys. So yeah, his Toronto mansion was his safe place. But now that it's been flooded, it's still being determined what he's going to do. I mean, sure, he still has his La Mansion and the $15 million mansion he recently bought in Washington, Texas. You know what? I don't think he's gonna go to the Texas home because it's only going to make things worse. Y'all know how Kendrick called him a PDF file? Well, according to reports, the mansion is only an hour and 10 minutes from the city with the most reported human cases in America and has the highest number of child cases. Chile being accused of inappropriate behavior with minors and then choosing to relocate to an area notorious for that type of thing is a very, very bad idea. And again, it doesn't seem like he's interested in beating the allegations. Kendrick seems to be enjoying this very much, and according to an insider, he has been mocking Drake and clowning him for his troubles, especially now that he can no longer hide in Canada. Fans had a lot to say about this, and they commented that Drake is definitely suffering from your standard biblical plagues, flood, famine. Not like us for 40 days and 40 nights. Kendrick had Crips and blood shaking hands, dancing to him, calling Drake a PDF file to an entire audience of screaming fans. There has never been such a complete cultural victory before this. This is Genghis Khan's level of hating. This is cracking me up. Did Kendrick put an effing curse on this man? And Kendrick even got Mother Nature to turn against him. The wild part about this is that J. Cole, who started this beef, has been chilling by the beach while Drake and Kendrick battle it out. Talk about a setup. Anyway, I want to know how you feel about this. So, drop your thoughts in the comments, then check out this next video.